stop teasing me. You're such a tease. Oh, it's a bag of coffee stuff, but it's in a foreign language, so it's exotic.
You didn't come and pick it up.
Oh, you didn't answer. We just drove straight past you. I gave you 2 minutes notice. I expect you on a Saturday to be like ready to immediately, like just checking your phone all the time. Oh, did Nick call? Did Nick call? Did Nick leave me a message?
No.
Yeah. Nah. Anyway, listen, how you want to do today is this. I am so pleased that you mentioned, or was it me? I can't remember. One of us, I think it was you, mentioned La Spaziale.
It was me.
Did I say that right? La Spaziale.
No, La Spaziale.
Thank God.
It's spatial. It's space, not special.
Okay. Can I say? Yeah. I mean, no. Next week is Chocoa, which is a big chocolate festival. I love it. And it's virtual this year because obviously, COVID. And they asked.
So they're gonna just make you smell the microphone.
They just wave chocolate in front of you, and you just salivate, and you can't have it. You lick the screen, but it still doesn't work. I've tried.
Like, look, but can you smell it? Can you smell it?
Oh, that's good. What is that?
It's a blend. So, and it has Robusta as well, which makes an amazing espresso.
Oh, yeah, I like Robusta coffee.
Wood roasted.
Wood roasted.
Damn,
that sounds good.
It's very interesting. Good. Very dark. Very dark.
Oh my God, I got so much coffee here right now. Listen, let me tell you my little story. And then we'll tell everybody because everybody, we can't actually just go straight into the coffee stuff.
No, I know. It would be odd.
It would be very strange. People wouldn't know where they were at with us. I had I'm moderating 2 forums, 2 sessions, talks.
Wow.
At Chocoa, they asked me to moderate a couple of sessions. I actually don't know why they asked me. I think they possibly got my name mixed up with somebody else, and then they called me and they said, "Will you moderate a session?"
It's easy. You just point the finger, say, "Shut up, you."
You shut up. You shut up. But I'm the speaker. Shut up. I'll try it. I'll see how that goes. Anyway, so it's quite good. We've got people from all over the world talking, and I said we did a little dry run, an introduction and a dry run. I said, if I could just make sure I'm pronouncing your names correctly. And so one guy was Chinese, and you would have thought with a Chinese wife, I'd have a clue. No, he goes, "It's Sue," and you're like, "Sue, Sue," and you're like, "Sue." He's like, "No, it's Sue," and you're like, And then the other one was African from Ghana, and that was I made the mess of that as well. I don't think anybody found it funny. I found it funny, but I was the only one laughing at myself. So La Spaziale.
Unless you get someone from South Africa that have an exclamation mark in their name.
Good luck all those tribes that click.
Yes.
For the names.
And it's an exclamation mark.
Is that what it is?
Yep. An upside down exclamation. But anyway, it's really, really interesting.
I'm still waiting to discover the language where people just scream. I think that'd be really interesting, very cathartic.
I think it's a part of Italy.
Yeah, it is. You have to wave your hands. Look,
I think it's a part of Italy.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole because, I know. There's stories about the great scientist, the great physicist. Well, you know this, Richard Feynman. You know Richard Feynman?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know that when he grew up, he used to fix radios and things. Anyway, he almost got run over by an ice cream van because all Italians sell ice cream in ice cream vans. I don't know if you know that. That's what we do. All Italians, when they go abroad, that's what they do. It's the only thing
I haven't told you, but that's what I do as well.
Yeah. Well, of course you do because you're Italian.
And driving.
So he almost got run over. So Richard Feynman, this award Nobel Prize winning physicist, when he was a kid, got across the road and some Italian guy almost ran over him and he shouted at him in Italian and was waving his hands around. And this guy's like this kid's like he's 16 or something. He doesn't know what the hell this guy's saying. So he shouts a bunch of stuff back, makes up a bunch of words and waves his arms around. And the guy was like shocked. And he thought he was Italian.
Of course.
He didn't speak a word.
Well, that's I mean, we don't. It's just noises.
You just wave your arms. That's the most important thing. You wave your arms.
There you go.
So listen,
have
you've
no
got
idea
this
what the
coffee
other
for
one
me.
is.
Tell me about this coffee that you very kindly. Well, I'll say very kindly when you actually give it to me, because it could be that you're just waving
I
it
went
around.
to really great lengths to get it from my
Oh,
hometown,
oh, you're a
and I
star.
didn't go there.
Yeah. Did you have to pay taxes on it now that Brexit?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you mean you avoided them or you didn't?
No, I paid them in Italy. There's VAT already paid. So,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
how many times do I have to pay VAT?
Well, I would imagine the Italians want to take their piece, and then the English will also not want to be left out. So, yeah.
No,
No.
no,
No.
no.
Um, look, lots of
This-
things to talk about.
yes,
La Speciale.
La Spaziale.
I was horrified when you said this, because I'm going to be very, very honest here. And to anybody who, La Speciale, who burst into tears at what I'm about to say, don't worry, because the story gets better. I looked at La Speciale, and I've looked at them, and I've always thought they're a bit of a rubbish brand. I've always thought, and look, I know they're big, and I know that, but I always associate them with cheap coffee shops that can't afford a proper machine.
And actually, it's quite the opposite. It's coffee shops that have very good machines that they have no idea what to do with them.
Yeah. No, but look, that's just my naive, totally bad. I'm being
Absolutely.
very honest. That's my impression. And then I looked into this machine, thinking, oh God, I can't believe Max made me talk about this stupid machine, and it looks stupid, and it is stupid. It's a stupid machine. And I started to look at it, and I was like, oh, that's got a couple of neat features. That's actually quite handy. And then the most bizarre thing started happening, Max. I started liking the look of it.
They look amazing.
Which is it is, let's be honest, it is an ugly machine.
What
And
are you
yet
talking
it's that
about?
kind of it's that kind of ugly that grows on you.
It's not ugly.
Well,
It's
okay,
really
it's an Italian. It's like, okay, when you go to Milan, right? And you walk down the streets of Milan, and which is actually, but not a particularly nice place to go. Actually,
what?
Milan.
Milan, no, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's very industrial.
Nobody likes Milan. Everyone in Milan, they say, "Oh yeah, I'm from Milan." Yes, but when
but you're not there now, are you? For a reason?
No, not only. Whenever they have 5 free minutes, they get out of it.
Yeah,
So
get as
I don't
fast
know
as
how
they can.
good it is.
That's why they have fast cars.
Yeah,
to get away from Milan.
To be very fast in a traffic jam.
Yeah. So so it's a bit like when you're going down, you're going to like these fashion places, and you're thinking, that woman is wearing the strangest clothes, because they wear, it's very fashionable. People are very fashionable there. But the Italian fashion is it's odd in the sense that it's sometimes you think it wouldn't work, and yet it kind of does. And you're like, but why does it? Because it's kind of ugly when you look at it to begin with, but actually they carry it off, and it makes sense eventually. And this machine's a bit like that. It kind of, the more you sort of look at it and understand it, you have to look at it for a while, because initially your thoughts are, get away from me. And I'm being honest, this is just my thoughts when I looked at that machine.
You're wrong.
But you know what? You know what's also really great about it? You know what we should celebrate about the La Spaziale is that it's not a shiny chrome machine. It's not a Me Too. And I love shiny chrome machines, by the way. And we're going to review a shiny chrome machine next week, because I've got some really exciting to run by you. But I'm not going to tell anybody else. It's just you and me. It's just you and me, buddy. We're going to know this. Only you and me.
Boring.
What?
They're boring. Shiny chrome machines.
Well, look, just because it's shiny and chrome, it doesn't mean that it's boring. All right?
Boring.
No, it doesn't mean that it's boring.
Wake up in the morning, see the shiny chrome machine. Boring.
Oh God, where were we? Oh, so anyway, so it's a different kind of machine, right? So the particular one we're talking about, we're not talking about the commercial. They obviously do a lot of commercial group machines,
and they all look the same, just bigger.
Yeah, they're basically they paid one intern to do some design work for them, and then they got rid of him because
the intern designed the sides, and then they sent him off, and then they just extended it.
That's it. Then that's it. Yeah. The intern, and these are not new machines. These designs go back 10 plus years, right? Yeah. So we're talking, this intern did 3 months work. They got an intern in cheap. I want to say cheap, I mean free. And then they said, basically, look, this is a project, design some machine. He doodled something with some crayons, and they said, that'll do, get, off you go now. And that's what they've used ever since.
True. But I'll stop you right there. And I will ask you, You walk into a room and there
Uh-huh.
are 75 different boxy chrome shiny machines and one La Spaziale. Which one do you recognize right away?
Uh,
Yes,
well, okay, yes, it is
precisely my
probably,
point.
unless it's in silver, because they do have a silver version, then that would just
It's still a
blends
different
in with
shape.
anything that's gray and becomes invisible.
It's still a different shape.
It
You
is a
don't
different
have to
shape.
squint.
Well, you might want to squint looking at it initially. So,
But you don't have to squint. That's one thing I actually appreciate because it's like, oh yeah, it's a La Spaziale. You can't mistake it. I mean,
yeah,
it's the other people are. Oh yeah, I've got a Syncronica. Oh, is it like a Giotto? Is it? They
yeah, but
all
it's
look
kind of
the
like saying,
same.
look, this guy's got a hump on his back. Oh, that's good because he's recognizable. I really enjoy having a hump on my back because no one
Mhm.
misses me. I always stand out in the crowd. Yeah, that's because you've got a hump on your back, and
You're talking to a person that is really fond of Alfa Romeos.
yeah. Wait. I thought we established that was all a big phase for you and a mistake.
No, I'm still looking at them.
You're not
I
still
still
looking
miss
at
it.
them, are you? Really? Well, it's just like you're a masochist. There's a word for that. It's called masochist.
Yeah, but it's nice.
No, not really. But okay, all right. Is it because it's shiny?
No, not at all. Actually, it gets rusty very quickly.
Well, it does get rusty very
It
quickly.
loses the shininess very quickly, but still, it just feels right. It gives you the fizz.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe
But
it.
anyway, La Spaziale, it's actually quite clever.
Yeah, and before we do that, let me tell you the coffees I'm drinking.
Ooh,
Because
Latitude. You finally found it. No, wait.
no,
Latitude is the
look how
one that.
many I bought. I made Gareth very happy because I bought 2. No, I didn't buy 2. I bought 3. Wait, what's this? It's another one. I bought 4 bags from him. I bought a decaf.
So wait. You got Latitude, Solitude, Fortitude, and then you got Decafitude.
I got decafitude. Yeah.
I
They
mean,
didn't call it decafitude. They should have done. You're a naming genius, Max.
I know. I mean, he should have kept naming them so people would buy the whole series.
Yeah, he should.
I mean,
Yeah, he
I
should have
wouldn't
kept
leave
on with
one
the whole
out.
thing. This one's
Yeah.
called Nueva Esperanza. That
Tude.
sounds like an ex-girlfriend.
Nueva Esperanza Tude.
Yeah.
There you go.
But the Fortitude, guess what? That's strong. Like that. Like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Solitude is my favorite non-strong espresso. It's like my favorite flavor.
Yeah, it was very nice.
From him. It's just a nice,
really
so
nice.
it's a nice espresso. The Latitude, I can't make my mind up about. Sorry, Gareth.
Is the blend that we tried at the very beginning, actually, and
it's nice.
But
it's one I would pick 2 or 3 times a month.
Yes, it's one off. You get it one, and it's like, oh wow, nice, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Then
It's more floral. Oh, I actually it is literally read it says floral. It literally says floral.
It literally says floral.
It does literally say it. So, but that's fine because and also it's a blend, right? And it's got some beans from Bonga, and as we know, any beans from Bonga are great because of the name Bonga, Bongo. But what I like as well on the back of these bags is it has the brewing
the same recipe in all of them,
and it's the same recipe on all of them, which is like I'm guessing. Well, that's the way he's roasted it,
probably.
But you know what I did was because this is the next part of the story. I say it smells so good. Oh, it's so good.
Stop sniffing coffee.
Sorry. What I did was he says, look, go put your 14 grams in. Well, I mean, who puts 14 grams of coffee in anything? Come on, get serious. I put 18 grams in, but I've got a new basket, and I just followed his instructions exactly, except with 18 grams instead of 14, because I'm a real man. Real men drink lots of coffee, and I've got these new baskets.
What is it? What size is it?
This one is an 18-gram basket, hence why I put 18 grams into it.
12 to 18.
Yeah. I don't
know.
No, it's not 12 to 18. It just says 18. And then this one.
It's the same one I have.
This one is a triple shot. But here's the thing. They're the VST baskets.
No, I have the IMS, not the VST.
Yeah, I've had the IMS and so I thought I'd try the VSTs because people have there's this whole VST versus IMS thing that goes on. I have to say I prefer these. They run a little faster, I think, or could be in my head. I have only had them for a day.
I think the surface area of the pores is bigger in that one, so the water would flow faster
The
through it.
surface area is bigger and it feels really smooth. I don't know if it's got a coating on it or something.
It's probably the nano coating is the same one that they use on the shower screens.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easier to
They're really
clean,
good.
basically.
I love that sound. Ready for business. All right. So sorry, I just wanted to share that with you that I'm drinking this coffee. And I would say I like the personally, I love the Fortitude. Oops. I love
Yeah,
the
I like that
Fortitude.
too.
It's nice and strong. Put hair on your chest, sir.
Put hair on your hair.
Well, I don't need it on my chest. Damn it! Put it on my head. What puts hair on my head?
You would put some chest on your chest.
Just keep my chest out of this whole equation and anything else. I don't want hair on anything except my head. So, yeah, nothing we can do about that, Max. So where do we get to? La Spaziale. So it's an old Italian company. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a big company too. It's not a small business.
Yeah. They sell a lot for in bars. Actually, you would see it pretty often. I think they might have a deal with Caffè Nero, but I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe.
But I wouldn't hold my breath on it, so I don't know. I've seen it in many coffee shops, and whenever there is a half competent barista, actually, the coffee is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's got one thing that I really like. It's the levers for the steam, which makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, all of them have levers. I like levers.
But it's not a lever as on off. It's actually a lever that you can sort of regulate, which is a good thing.
You can put it up a little bit to yeah, and I believe it's got okay. So actually, the machine. Let's talk about the particular machine that we're talking about. Let's talk about the machine we're talking about, Max.
The S1. So S1, it's actually covering a lot of machines because you have S1 basically just means that it's got one group head, and that's pretty much it, and a saturated group head. So S stands for saturated. So basically, it's like a GS3. Then there are several different ones. So you have the S1 Dream, S1 Dream T. I have no idea what's the difference between the two.
Mate, let me tell you, that thing's expensive. I'm not going there.
But that's expensive. It's £2,000.
No, it's more than it's more like 3,000.
No.
I saw one for 3,000. No, the Dream, the T1 Dream, it was something, I looked it up. It was like $3,000. I quickly closed my browser in case I accidentally hit the buy button. So, but
anyway,
they've got different models for this S1, and I'm glad you're explaining it because I thought that they were just it was an older. Most of them are called Vivaldis.
Yes. So the Vivaldi, you have it's the basic one, and you have the Vivaldi, and now I think it's the Vivaldi 2.
Yeah.
And that comes in both options. It comes with a direct plumbing or with a tank.
Yeah.
And the one that has direct plumbing has a rotary pump.
Yeah.
The other one, I believe, has, I'm pretty sure it's got a vibration pump.
It does, but it's got some tricks that we'll cover in a minute. But let's just finish going through the different range of models.
Yes. Anyway, so you have the Dream, and then you have the. I apologize. It's the dishwasher going. Sorry, the washing machine going. It's gonna be some gurgling. So there is the Dream, the Vivaldi, the Rossini and Rossini Dosata.
Oh.
Rossini and Rossini Dosata are a slight, I think it's a slight upgrade, but I was reading the description of those, and it's quite difficult to compare one to the other, and I couldn't quite get my head around those. So to be honest, I wouldn't be able to tell what's the difference between the two. The thing I've noticed is that the Vivaldi has a single spout portafilter in the pictures, and the Rossini has a double spout portafilter in the picture. But I have no idea if that makes any difference or it has any meaning whatsoever.
I can tell you, look, the La Spaziale S1 Mini Vivaldi, you can get one of those from Coffee Italia for under £1,300.
Yes, they're not very expensive.
Look, once you get past the fact that it was hit very hard with the ugly stick, and then actually that starts to grow on you. And you then realize some of the functionality that you get with this.
First of all,
it's actually incredible value.
Yeah. First of all, you get a dual boiler machine.
Dual boiler. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For this price range, it's crazy.
It's a dual boiler with a saturated group head.
Yeah.
You can exclude the second boiler if you want.
Can you?
Yeah. It's got that function. It's got a PID.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I think the Vivaldi doesn't have a PID per se, and the Rossini has a PID.
This has so the first thing you're going to notice when you look at it, for me, the first thing I said was, ew, ugly buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized actually those ugly buttons would be really handy.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, the reason it's got the buttons is because it's volumetric, right?
Yes. So you have in all of them, you have a volumetric dose control.
Right. So right off the bat, it's different from most of the other machines we looked at because you push a button, it's volumetric, which is, and I looked at how you set it up. It's very easy. It's very easy to change the volume and to get it dialed in to how much output you want.
And that means that if you grind too fine or too coarse, you're still going to get the same amount of water through your beans. It's just going to change the speed at which it's delivered.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a massive improvement from anything, really.
Yeah. And there's something else too that it's got, which is incredible for a machine running with a water tank, which is that it has a pre-infusion, and it does this through a mechanism that I don't understand, but it's got like they call it like a chamber where the water goes from I think the pump sucks the water into this chamber, and then I don't know, drips it out at a lower pressure into the group head, so that you've got a I don't know how many seconds it is, but you've got a pre-infusion period before the pump kicks in and does its things, which I thought was quite clever.
Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for the one thing, the one thing that is, and the steam wand is a 4-hole steam wand with pretty decent dry steam. From what I've seen, steaming looks very great in it. Not that's my thing, but
it's useful to have it, and also by having a dual boiler, you don't need to use it all the time.
Yeah.
So it can absorb very little. There's only one big problem.
Is this the problem that I'm going to bring up? Go on, tell me.
Probably. You start with yours.
It's a 53 mil filter holder.
Yeah. It's the wrong size.
The wrong bloody size filter holder. Why, Max? They were doing so well.
I don't know. They made a flower and then they took a shit on it.
Okay, well, there goes my child safe, whatever it's flag. Okay, hit on it, you say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They're like, look, we've invented this amazing machine. It goes on. Look, the innovation goes on because they've made this thing fit under the counter with a cup warmer that apparently works. And then because they know that, if we really want to annoy people, what we need to do is make sure that the water, if it gets filled from the top, which means and so Breville, if we remember going back to our Breville conversation, they have like a little button you push and a wheel comes off the bottom, so you can swivel it, you can pull it out and do things like fill the water in the tank. Spaziale were like, really? Is that your solution? Have a little wheel on the bottom, you can wheel it out? No. That, here's how you fix that. You actually have a tray at the front and you pull the water tank out the front. It's fantastic. Why doesn't everybody do that? It's brilliant.
Ajit does. You can in the classic.
Okay, but
it's a mess to do it, but you can.
What?
But you can pull
the thing, you have to take the drip tray out. Yeah. You're right. It does come out, and then you have to pull some pipes out, and it's a bit of a faff. But yeah, you're right. It does do that, which is something for sure. But no, I really liked all these things, and then I just sort of thought, and it's a 53. It's not even a 54 mil. It's a 53 mil. It's like, let's invent the damned size that no one can get anything for, that makes no sense to anybody. Good luck getting a tamper to fit it. All that, and let's make it that size. We've done everything else right. Where can we really trip up at the end?
There you have it. I think that's the only deal breaker for me, because the machine itself is perfect, is brilliant. Plus, the way that they have the PID, or anyway, the temperature control of the group head and of the water is brilliant, because everyone is very obsessed about having the numbers, reading the numbers, and having the PID that tells you you're brewing at 54.32, which is utterly meaningless.
Yeah. Well, no, I like that.
Yes, but it's meaningless.
I like it.
Yes, but that measurement, as a professional in measurements,
Oh,
is
wait.
meaningless.
You're talking at the tank, or you're talking about at the brew
At
head?
the PID in general. So the PID having a measurement of 0.1 degree.
Oh, 0.1 degree. Yeah, of course.
It's
No, you want to be
meaningless.
measuring in degrees.
Yeah, even half a degree, I think, is a bit wishy-washy, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Because
I'll agree with that. I don't get fussed about that. I get fussed about a degree.
And what La Spaziale has done instead, you have a little bar at the top, and you have a series of LEDs, and that's your temperature gauge that goes from 92 to 98, I think, something like that.
It's actually smart. It's actually
your
really
range.
nice. I mean, it's ugly, obviously, but then it's got this ugly charm to it.
Yeah,
and you're
it's
like,
actually
kind of, you know what? It's useful. It's functional. It's function over form over function, function over form, something like that.
And I will tell you more. The Dream and the Dream T, actually, they have smart plug built in, so you can actually have a 7-day calendar, and you can plug in when you want it to upgrade, sorry, to turn on and to be hot for how long. And that is done through a capacitive screen, touch screen. So it's not with one button that does all.
That's what it does. Okay, so that's why they charge you an extra £1,000 for it.
Well, there's probably quite a few other features on top of it.
But it's £1,800 for the La Spaziale Dream. What am I dreaming about here?
It's not that bad, actually. It's in range. It's actually cheaper than Synchronica.
Yeah, but what's the size of the group head again?
I know. That's the only issue. That's literally the only problem with it.
Right, 53. Or maybe it's 53.2. 53.23, actually, max. Yeah. The most ridiculous.
If it was 58, I bet you they would sell these by the bucket at this price point.
I'd just like to know whose idea it was. There was a meeting. So imagine there's a meeting going on, and everyone's already patting themselves on the back. Do we have a welder beating a machine? He was like, yes, very, very good. And somebody goes, to make it a little bit more special, we should have a 53 millimeter filter. I don't know. Are you sure? Maybe it's the boss, right?
Yeah. Are you really
maybe
sure?
53 is not right. No, trust me, 53. Then they come to us for everything. They have to buy everything from us. It's going to make it fantastic. 53 is a really good number. Also, it's my lucky number. It's my wife's birthday. She's 53. And everyone's like, the boss wants 53. Okay, all right.
I think that's how it went, probably.
Then they all leave the meeting and they're all like, we worked on this for 5 years and everything is ruined for nothing. Why? Why for nothing? That's what they're saying to themselves as they leave the meeting.
I'm pretty sure there is a good reason for it, but I can't bloody see it.
Look, if we haven't insulted La Spaziale people enough, could you contact us and tell us why?
Yes. Actually, yes, I would really like to know why, because it's such an odd number and everyone else is doing even 58, or what's the other one that
54. Yeah, 58 and 54. And 54 sucks. Like I wouldn't buy a machine with 54. And I tell you for why. I just mentioned how I've got this 18 and this 22 gram portafilter
for the Sage.
Try getting I got the Sage, and the maximum I can squeeze into that 54 mil filter is about 14 grams.
Yeah,
like
I have a feeling that it's probably a historical reason. So they've always had a 53 portafilter, and they've always used that. So in the same way as Gaggia you can use it's not that you can use not a professional, sorry, a commercial portafilter in a normal gadget. It's the same.
Yeah.
The portafilter that you use in your Gadget Pro is the same that you would use in a professional gadget that is in a cafe. It's literally the same. Weighs the same, is built the same. It's literally everything is the same. Maybe they've always done these, and when you have a cafe, they supply you everything, and you don't really go for special baskets. You just go stock.
Right.
Very unlikely. And that's probably the reason why they just went with it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my interpretation. Obviously, being a less distributed machine that you see less, because gadgets are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
La Nova Simonelli, there's plenty of them as well, and they actually make machines more oriented for the personal use.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria Arduino is part of La Nuova Simonelli, and also that is that produces high-end machines, but they also are 58. I think they are similar to gadgets for that reason, or they use similar group heads. And I think that probably all of these comes from the Faema E61. And I have the feeling that historically, La Spaziale went on a different route. And that's why they developed a 53 millimeter portafilter. And they might have gone with it forward. It's a silly idea now. But if you have to redesign all of your parts, yes. But I don't think it's more tradition. It's more like we can lift off parts from our commercial machines and put them in the prosumer machines.
Maybe something simple, like most of their businesses don't know an awful lot about coffee. They're like coffee, not high-end coffee shops. They're bistros and things, and the people just buy them, and they're like, you know what? If we will have a captive market, if anytime they want to get a new portafilter or basket, they're going to have to come back to us.
Which is possible.
I imagine it's, but you know what you do get? They make up for it. I'll tell you how they make up for it. Because in case you have difficulty getting a tamper for the machine, for the 53 mil baskets, they provide you with a plastic tamper. So they've got that covered for you, wow. Max. They got your back there. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Amazing.
The plastic tamper is amazing. Is something that I always wanted, to be honest.
I'm just going to go look on Amazon right now, and don't
actually,
shoot me. I'm going to Google because I don't want to. What?
You know what? I just had some memory that just fired up. I have a feeling that also La Cimbali does an odd shape, an odd size portafilter size, portafilter size. And I think it's the same size as La Spaziale, because the La Cimbali grinder I have that has the tamper at the bottom of the grinder is not a 58 millimeter. So maybe it's if you have a La in front of your name, you have to use a smaller portafilter. So if it was, instead of Gaggia, was La Gaggia, maybe it was
for that. There could be a law for that. I actually just looked it up. I mean, I told you we're late on this call today because I was on the phone to my credit card company. And I was in a vicious argument with them over a little thing that blew up, because they told me it was the law that they had this. I'm going to say it's American Express. I'm shamed them. It's the law, they said, that we have to know your income. And I said, you don't need to know my income. I don't want to tell you. But every time I log in to doing a thing, it goes, tell us your income. And there's no way to not get it to come up every single time. You have to go and close it. And when you close it, it says, I'll remind you next time. So I contacted their support. I said, I don't want to be reminded next time. Just take the bloody thing away. I'm not going to tell you my income. And they said, well, we have to know. It's the law. I said, what law? They said, it's a regulation. It's KYC. I said, KFC? They said, no, it's like KYC, which is know your client, right? So know your client. And I said, well, you didn't do it before. So there must be a new law, or you were non-compliant before. So which one is it? And they went, oh, well, I don't really know. I might be. So if it's a new law, you'll be able to tell me, point me in the direction of the
They
regulation.
stepped on a shit in there, didn't they?
And
they
and
asked
then I said,
the wrong question.
I was the biggest jerk in the world to this person. And then I said, well, it's interesting because, I have Visa and MasterCard as well, and they don't ask me. So I guess they're in breach of this law that you pointed out. Could you just point to this new regulation that's come out? And they had to pass me through to somebody else who then just tried to carry the same line and then basically couldn't, said, we'll take your recommendation forward to the team. And I said, well, if you would please, because if it's not part of the law, either you were in the breach previously of the compliance rules, or you can point me to the law, or you're in breach of, and then I pulled out the GDPR card. And I said, you're in breach of the minimization principle of GDPR for asking for information that you don't need for the purposes of the data processing. And they were like, God, please get off the phone. Please get off the phone. I've got some news. When you're being a jerk, and there's sometimes you just you want to, you've made my life painful, I'm going to make your life painful. I take it back about this 53 mil thing, because you can actually get lots of different tampers. Rhino has
you can absolutely
£9.99. You can get a Rhino tamper for 53 mils. And I'm just going to look up VST basket 53 mil.
I'm pretty sure that they exist.
Clumsy Goat, which is where I got my VST baskets from.
Yeah, I mean, when you're spending £1,000 for a coffee machine, I'm pretty sure you can find a tamper for it. But it's a bit of a nuisance, because if you had any other coffee machine before, you have to redo everything. It's a bit silly.
Yeah.
But I am pretty sure you can get something like this, which is a Motta tamper, as you know.
Yeah.
My amazing Motta 58 millimeter portafilter that has a screw.
Yeah, I got one.
So you can probably change just this bit with something different. And I'm pretty sure Motta makes a 53 portafilter. And life is simple again.
Yeah.
But you have to change it. If you had a coffee machine before you had one of those, you have to change all of your gear. Well, your tamper.
Listen, this is what's annoying. And I tell you, okay, so I'm looking on VST. If you want a VST basket, which I now think they're the best, mostly because they're shiny. And they're really smooth and shiny. It's much shinier than the other ones that I have. So
portafilter guys, just make it shiny. Nick will buy it.
I'll buy anything if it's shiny, except an Alfa Romeo. Not that I'd find a shiny one anyway.
You wouldn't. Probably the moment it gets to the dealership,
it started to rust.
That brief second,
the electrics have started to fail.
They failed before. They failed in the shakedown, but that's okay.
That's right.
That's okay. I mean, what you do is take some cables and just put them in there. Just that's done. That's electrics.
Yeah, it's like buying an Italian motorbike. It's always electrics that go.
Well, what is your Italian motorbike? What is it?
You got a number. You got the Moto Guzzi. You've got the Ducati. And I don't have an Italian motorbike. What do you think? I'm crazy? I don't want my motorbike breaking down.
There is Ducati. There is Guzzi.
Yeah, there's Aprilia. There's Mamma Mia. There's a whole bunch.
Benelli. But Benelli now is Korean now, I think.
Benelli's Korean?
Yeah, I think it failed more than once. I mean, Ducati.
The big one's a
Audi.
Ducati. The big one is Ducati, and then you got Moto Guzzi, kind of somewhere.
But Ducati is Audi. Moto Guzzi is still Italian.
Okay.
Aprilia
but if you buy that logic, then Land Rover and Jaguar are owned by the Chinese or something.
In fact,
I don't like to think
anymore.
of that. I like to still think of them as British, even though they're not really.
But they don't break down anymore.
Yeah, they used to break down all the time, Land Rovers. Except the really old ones. Back in the 1960s and 70s, they were awesome. I had a 1967 Land Rover. 1967. That thing was still going 30 years later.
I mean, it will limp through. It's fine.
Yeah, there's a tank. Anyway, listen. So,
yes.
not comfortable. Not a comfortable tank. if I was in a crash with an Alfa Romeo, I know who'd come off better. That's what I'm going to say. You cannot, if you get this La Spaziale, this is the killer for me because I can't get a VST basket for it. The VST basket comes in 22 mil, 24.2 mil, 26 mil, and 28 mil.
28?
28.
Doesn't make sense.
No, actually, what am I talking about? This makes no sense whatsoever.
I think that's grams.
No, it says millimeters. So for instance, it says 15 gram. Oh no, that's the depth. I need the width. This is why. Oh, here we go. They recommend using 58.4 mil
tamper.
That's a tamper.
Yes.
These are all 58 mils. These are all. So
when you use, that's one of the things. When you actually use, am I crackling or something? I think I'm a bit loud.
It's in your head, Max.
Oh, that's okay then.
Yeah.
I've got very loud voices in my head. The IMS and VST tampers, they're all competition baskets, and they actually are bigger. They're wider.
Oh.
And I did notice it with my tamper. So this is a 58 dead millimeters.
Yeah.
And it fits just fine in the normal portafilters, in the normal baskets.
Yeah.
But in the IMS that I use every day, it doesn't. There's always a little bit of a gap, which is 0.2 millimeters. So you should use a 58.2 to a 58.4, or just stamp around a little bit. That's okay too.
Yeah, that's actually what I did. Mine doesn't fit quite perfectly, so I do that. Yes.
But the problem comes when you have a 58 millimeter tamper and you try to tamp a 53 basket. Yeah. That's very difficult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on how strong you are. And if you're determined, if you're very strong and determined, you will smash that thing into the coffee, despite the metal surrounding it. But
no, probably not, because that's steel and the portafilter is brass. So the portafilter is going to give in first.
Okay. All right. So
you will tamp the portafilter.
Even that strategy is not going to work. No. I think the problem is, okay, so look, let's just rack up. I'm not going to buy it. Let's rack up the.
I would love to review it though. So, Mr. La Spaziale,
you want me to buy it so that you could review it?
Mr. Spaziale, I would like to review your machine, any S1 that you would like to send me, for about 15 years.
Yeah, Lucas, we only believe here at Bar Talks. We only believe in long-term reviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all of you stingy machine operators out there, you stingy machine manufacturers out there that want to send us a machine for, say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. No, it doesn't work like that. No. In 15 years, when we've done a proper review, we will return the pieces to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And completely free of charge. Probably. So, I will do it free of charge.
We will box it up and leave them in plastic dustbin bags anywhere in Europe that you like.
Yeah.
It might be sent by a gypsy with a might put it on the back of a gypsy cart. I had my cafe. I was getting rid of an old, I think it was a dishwasher. Didn't work anymore. We don't have proper recycling things. This is in North Macedonia. Don't have proper recycling things out there. So we were taking it out, and I was going to get someone to pick it up in a car and then take it to like a repair guy just to give it to him.
But how do you know you want to repair it?
Oh, please don't start with that. Don't get me angry. It's a similar story though. So a gypsy was going past with his donkey and his cart, and he said, "Are you in Macedonian?" He said, and I didn't understand a word, but then someone translated obviously to me. He said, "Do you want that?" And I was like, "No, you can have it if you want it." So they had to load this thing into. Actually, no, you know what? They couldn't load it on the back of the donkey cart. So he said, "Wait a minute." And he called his cousin. He called his cousin Vinny. I don't know, his cousin, Vinny. Whatever his cousin's name.
Sounds like Italian American.
So Zoran came over in the car, right? And it's a tiny little car. The donkey was bigger. A tiny car comes up, and I'm like, "Mate, that's not going to fit in the back." Don't worry. We get it in. I'm like, "That's not going to go." So they managed to get the seats down or take the seats out, and they managed to put the child on the roof and to get the thing, and that
they put the seats on the donkey.
They put the seats on the donkey. They get the washing machine. I'm watching this like fascinated. They managed to get the washing machine in. Now the back of the car is hanging down, and they can't obviously close any of the doors, so that's fine. They just leave that open. They take one of the 6 children and they ask them to hold the thing, in place whilst they drive off. And then the guy comes in and he holds out his hands and he says, "You got to pay me for taking it away." I said, "No, I'm not paying to take it away. I was going to take it to someone for free." And he got very upset. He's like, "Oh, you got to pay me. You got to pay me, or else, bad things will happen."
Or else I will leave it right there. Okay.
It's like, yeah, no. It's like, well, else we'll come back and we'll throw it through the window or something. But you just have to go away. So yeah. I don't know how we got into that. So anyway, but yes, we will have the machine. But
that was the last time that anyone saw him.
That's and now I've left the country. So I had I really it was kind of a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster looking at this machine, because obviously I hated it to begin with. Mm-hmm. Then I looked at all the different functions on it and I was like, I could actually see myself using this machine. It's got enough things in there. I started to visualize using it. I wasn't disappointed. It wasn't shiny and chrome, but you know what? I was going to buck the trend. I was going to do something different. I was going to be my own man, steer my own course in the universe, buy a machine that, regardless of whether other people liked it or not, that it would be my machine and I would like it because I knew what it was capable of. Mm-hmm. And I went down this road all the way.
To Mac's suggestion.
Yeah, thanks to Mac's suggestion. It had the whole pre-infusion thing. I started to dig the whole volumetric, like push a button. I could get set again, how easy that was to program. To say, I want to have this much output from this much coffee, and you just change every time you change your coffee. If you need to change it, it's 2 seconds, you change it. And the temperature, the PID on the front with the bars, I thought to myself, do you know what? This is a lot of machine for the money. This is really great. I could actually then a 53 mil portafilter. Oh, really?
I know.
Yeah. So that was it.
That's a massive
all over. Letdown. Yeah. The romance is over.
But I have to say, it is a lot of machine for the money. I mean, I think for that price tag, it's probably one of the best machines money can buy.
Oh,
in terms of features.
I think you're probably right. Oh, Max, why don't you just fit, because you do stuff, just fit a 58 mil group head on there for me?
It's a saturated group head.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what that means, but I don't know what that means from an engineering point of view. Well, are you saying you're not smart enough to do that, Max?
I am totally smart enough to do that. It's just that you probably have to lift off a GS3 group and stick it to it.
That sounds like a doable thing.
Yes, as long as you don't plan to sell it, is perfectly fine. As long as you plan to sell it, probably there's gonna be a lot of people with very angry looks, with a lot of patents to beat you up with those.
Yeah.
And play you like a drum with patents.
It's such a shame. I'm going to find out. I'm going to look a little bit more into it to see like what people think of this. Like, why is it 53? What people think about it. Like, I don't know. 14
actually, guys, all of our 5 listeners, tell us, what do you think about it?
5
why?
Now, are there 5?
Probably 4. One forgot.
Well, also, yeah, my friend Ansel sent me a message. He's in Latvia. I was his best man. I was his best man in Latvia. And he didn't tell me that till I got out there. He said, "Come to the wedding, Nick. Come to the wedding." I was like, "Okay." And I landed there. He's like, "You're my best man." I'm like, "What?
I'm what?"
It's like, I'm what now? If you're listening, Ansel, you know that's true. And I had to stand up and tell jokes and something. Oh, no, sorry. I did have to stand up and tell a joke. They do this thing where they steal from you. This is a very Latvian thing, where at the wedding, they go around, they say, "Let's go out," and you light little Chinese balloon things, like little Chinese lamps, and they float off into the night. It was very pretty. It was a lovely wedding, actually. Mm-hmm. And you do that.
There was a fire 5 kilometers downwind, but that's okay.
Yeah, and it sets fire to someone's house down the road, but that's okay because you had a good time. Yeah. But then you go back into the hall where they had the wedding, and all your stuff's being nicked, right? And
Right.
and then somebody kind of stands up at the front with a big bag of loot, and they say, whilst you're out, floating things, and you obviously trusted us and you left all the stuff on the table, we went
Mhm.
around and we stole everything. And if you want it back, you're going to have to do what we say. This is kind of like, this is Balkan, where blackmail
Mhm.
and threats become, a standard wedding event. Um,
Yeah.
and I had to tell a joke. And so they just stood up there and they're like, okay, whose is this? And they held up whatever it is. I can't remember what it is I had. And then I was like, yeah, that's mine. I say, okay. And different people have to do that. So some people have to dance. For the love of God. I mean, can you imagine me dancing? They obviously took one look at me and said, you're not dancing, mate.
Mm.
But then I had to tell a joke. And it was full of old ladies, which I don't understand. I'm thinking, God, tell a joke. And I started to think of a joke. I thought, what was the last funny joke I remember? And I started to tell it. It's kind of a long joke. I'm not going to tell it now, but it was started a long joke. And as I started the joke, I realized it was a very, very dirty joke.
Good.
And then I'm looking around at all the lovely old ladies in the room, thinking, can I change this joke somehow?
But you
No,
couldn't.
I couldn't change. I went for it, including all of the, the arm swinging and the demonstrations.
That's good. What was the
Yeah.
joke?
Anyway, he said to me, hey, Master Nick, I tuned into your podcast the other day. You're really having fun. And I said, are you sure it was us? So yeah, that's one of our 5 listeners.
That's very good. So, what do you think about della Spaziale, and why do you think it's?
Okay, I for the price, I actually would have considered it,
Oh yeah,
except
I
for
think.
that. But
To be
that
honest,
53 is a killer.
yeah,
It's a stopper for me because I like to put a fair amount of coffee in, and I like having the flexibility of using different baskets and things like that. And okay, I can get myself a tamper for it, but I can't. I'm never going to be able to fill 22 grams of coffee in that.
I'm
In
sure you
that.
can. I'm sure you can. It's not that
Well, I'm going
much.
to look into that. I mean, if there is a way to get good quality baskets and to fill them up with tons of coffee and for it to work, then I would actually put that on my list. Yeah, I would.
Because for the feature is actually a lot of machine, and it's cheaper than the mid-range ECM.
Yeah, I have to say, I can't believe I'm saying this. I would prefer this to the ECM. I think it would be more fun.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. I think it's got more potential, more functionalities. I mean, remember, it's a dual boiler. So to get a dual boiler with ECM, you have to get to the Synchronica.
It's a dual boiler with a saturated group head, the temperature, which has got the temperature stability that I crave. And
Mhm.
actually, the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of the volumetric buttony thing. I kind of
Yeah,
like the idea of going in there and pushing a button.
yeah. The volumetric. The good thing of the volumetric is that you deliver the right amount of water, so your proportion coffee to water is always right.
Yeah.
Obviously, to an extent, but you only have to worry about the grind to adjust the time
Hmm.
of interaction. But you will always get the same volume of coffee out. So
Yeah,
you
the
don't have
volume
to
that you
wait. You
set. So
wait
you can set
once
the
and
volume
you're
up and down.
exactly. You wait once and you're done.
Yeah. So the idea, because right now I make a mess by putting my scales under the thing every time, and then I have
Mhm.
to, and I hate my scales. So part of this is actually driven from the hatred I have of my scales, and which is an Akaya pearl or something like that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a Kai. It's a thing from hell, which has an app that's never worked, that has all these functions, and then you have to go scroll through the different functions, then you hit the wrong thing, and then it messes it up, and it's just awful. I just want to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But with this thing, I wouldn't need to put my.
Look, it's shiny.
Oh, it is shiny. Ooh, shiny scale. What is that?
It's a salter.
Ah, okay. Yeah. It's not good enough for me, Max. I'm a professional.
Yeah, because you need to see 0.1 grams. That is not accurate, but need to see
No,
it.
but I put it under. No, but that's too big to put under my on my drip tray. So I weigh the coffee
No?
I weigh the coffee as it's coming out. I weigh and time
Hmm.
it. So my scale has
Yeah.
got a timer and a what? Does that fit on your drip
Oh,
tray?
yeah, it does. But my drip tray is special.
But you got a drip tray the size of a basketball court, so that's different for most normal
Yes.
people.
I'm not gonna show it.
Don't show
Not
it to
yet.
me.
Not yet.
Yeah. So wrapping this up, I would say, because we're now meandering horribly, I would
Yeah.
say I'll look into the whole 53 ml basket thing, because if somebody can convince me that I can get enough coffee into a 53 ml basket, because they say, yeah, but it's deeper. Yeah, but I don't know how deep and how much coffee can I get into it. Because if it's like that Breville that I've got, that Sage that I've got, I'm not a big fan of the Sage. It's okay. I've played with it enough that I now can make decent coffee with it. But there are, I make a coffee with that, and I make a coffee with the Gagier, and there's a big difference between the two, quality wise.
There you have
So
it.
So there you have it. So La Spaziale, if you could just change your design quickly in the next few weeks and then roll out a 58 mil version for me, please. I would be very
that's a
grateful.
sale already.
Yeah, then I will probably almost certainly buy it.
Yeah, but I am sure actually that they would sell a lot more if they had a 58 mil portafilter. But that's my interpretation.
Yeah, neither of us work in marketing, so we
No,
actually probably can't say. Maybe they've been hugely successful.
I'm sure they have, because there's quite a few that come up for sale secondhand and they get snatched really quickly. The good
They
thing is
really, I
that
might actually have a look up one for secondhand. How much do
they
they go
come
for?
up
What
for
do they go
sale
for secondhand? What do they sell for?
500, 600.
Oh my God, what a bargain.
Yeah.
What a bargain.
So if you're on the hunt for one of those, keep them peeled, because they are worth it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
definitely.
worth it.
Are
But
they
they don't
easy to
last long
service?
on.
One of the things I wanted to ask you on a very serious note, having just serviced my classic.
I've never seen one, to be honest, in the flesh, but I don't think that would be more difficult than any other one, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm
So
talking about the basic stuff. So I don't mean like, taking apart the boiler or something, because I would just I wouldn't do that. But like just the basic cleaning of the saturated group head and all that kind of stuff.
it should be quite. It should be quite easy.
Yeah, I would have
Actually,
thought
a
so.
saturated group head is probably less prone to breakdowns than an E61. Because
Yeah.
E61, you have a lot of flow restrictors that will in time build up a lime scale. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the common things is a build-up of lime scale on the cold end of this, or the thermosiphon.
Mm-hmm.
So at the bottom on the return pipe from the group head, so you have your group head here, and you have a hot pipe delivering hot water to it, and then you have a pipe coming down, and that creates the thermosiphon that cycles the water through it.
Got it.
When the water cools down, lime scale tends to fall out of solution, and it accumulates there. And it will create a plug that will make your group head cold. A friend of mine just bought an ECM Giotto and had that problem. And I told him, yeah, dismantle the thing, and it's likely that there is the problem. He then brought it to a person to service it, and that's where there was a big plug of lime scale built up in there. And now it's working fine. But
well, talking about big plugs, sorry, just to
Yep.
jump in there, something extremely important to communicate to you, and then we'll wrap it up, is that I realized that when you make, I've got that little Nespresso thing that I'm just drinking the capsules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm really loving that. I've been buying more capsules. I'm not going to get rid of that thing. I'm keeping it.
Good.
That capsule machine,
Mm-hmm.
you put your coffee under it, the drip tray also fills up. And I never even thought about it, because it doesn't, with the OPV thing, doesn't have a waste water that it sucks out. I never thought about changing that drip tray. And then one day I noticed there's water forming around it. So I thought, what the hell? What is this? Where's that coming from? And I realized that the drip tray was full. So I went to take it to the sink, and the oddest thing was in there. It was like, there's a big wad of paper in the drip tray. How the hell did that get in? And how do I get it out? So I fiddled around, tried to wash it. I couldn't wash it out. Eventually I realized the top of the drip tray comes off. And it wasn't a wad of paper. It was a giant lump of mold.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I'd had it in there for so long without washing it. So, yeah, don't do that. Listen, we're going to wrap it up. And then next week, I'm not going to tell anybody what it is. I'm going to finish recording. We're going to say goodbye and pretend we're hanging up, but then we're not. And then we're going to instead, I'm going to tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to tell you because I'm so keen on it. This was your week with La Spaziale.
I was right.
My week. And it's going to be a shocker. Yeah. So bye-bye, Max. Have a great week.
You too.